how do you make an oracle deck anyways? Like, what goes on in all of that? Hi Wild Woman, I'm Elizabeth MacLeod. I'm the founder of Wild Woman Enchanted, author and illustrator of the Wild Woman Mystery Cards, and teacher and student of all things magical. We have many courses and things coming up, a school that's opening up with master classes in healing and all sorts of things. I'll put a link below for you to sort of jump on the mailing list so that you're first to know. But today, what I wanted to do is share with you the story of the Wild Woman Mystery Cards, how they got born and what they do out in the world, and how you can get a set of your own as well. This is the deck that we've been using in the Wild Woman Enchanted show that I wrote and illustrated. The Wild Woman Mystery Cards started as a set of stones, actually. I have the stones right here. They started as, I made a little red velvet bag. I didn't even know how to sew. So I had moved up to the coast from Vancouver, where the reason I did is I had been seriously ill with pneumonia, and I had crossed over and almost died. And you can see that all the stones are very similar. There's Heartbeat. You can see it here. That's Heartbeat. I left everything the same when I actually brought it into a card deck. These are the 53 cards that are involved. There were 16 stones, and they were healing stones to unleash the wild woman within. They came with the little book, the stones, and then I put the little pictures in the back. Now, this book was made in the living room of a friend's house. People think you just do it and it just arrives, but it's not that way. So then the Wild Woman stones were made, and I was painting constantly. It took me a half an hour to get these down. I got really good at it, making the bag and making the stones and making it happen. And the reason I started painting on stones, I actually started by painting houses on stones. And the reason that happened was I had moved from Vancouver to here. I had dropped down on my knees and prayed because I was so sick, and I found this little place right on the water, and so I moved. Within a week I was gone and had no idea that I was going to move. It was actually very interesting because I thought I'd have to give up all this other stuff, but really what I had to do is I had to shift my whole life. And out there were bunches of rocks, and so I started painting on stones and rocks as a way to heal. But what ended up happening in all of that was I found these little black rocks that I used for the Wild Woman stones, and I started to paint symbols on them. And those symbols became many things for many people. People would take the stone and they say, I'm going to take this and use it through chemotherapy. I'm going to take this stone and I'm going to give it, that my friend is magnificent. I'm going to give her this stone because she's so beautiful. What ended up happening is I always wanted to do a deck. So I went off to this goddess fair. I had 17 sets of these Wild Woman stones, and they sold out. I thought I have to figure out how to copyright this. So I phoned up a lawyer, and she says, no, it's a trademark. So I trademarked it. And from then, things just opened. I did a handmade set of 27 cards. So I kept everything the same, and I created more. So it took 2 years, and that's all I did. And I think these cards saved my life. I think the reason why the rest of them came later was that after my mom had seen the stones and seen the deck, I used them when she was dying in the hospital. I was so glad that she saw them. And after that, I was stricken with grief. Our family was struggling. The estate settling was a nightmare. We just fell apart as a family. And I sold my childhood home and, left and thought, oh my God, what's going to happen? When I came back after my mother had died, I was lost. So I wasn't really clear on what my next path was, and I really was worried because my passion had always been the Wild Woman stones, my handmade deck, all my little products that I had. That was what kept me going. The interesting thing about a journey like that is when you really listen to your heart, you have no idea what's going to happen until you actually do it. I get people who use them in women's circles and all of those things that I expected, or just for their healing path, but you never know what's going to happen when you just allow yourself to do what you are meant to do. So I called it mystery cards because really what we're doing is stepping into the mystery, and the tagline underneath is an enchanting journey to your true self, because that's what it was for me, and that's what I want for you. To find your authentic true nature, to be able to turn over a card, pick it up, here and got creativity, and be able to say, I want to create something in my life that makes my life beautiful and where I feel really good. And when I do that, I'll be able to answer my soul call. Very interesting that we get soul call. It's fascinating to me how the synchronicity of everything works. But if you're following your destiny, your soul call is being answered. And that's what the Wild Woman mystery cards were for me. They are wonderful for inspiration and clarity. This is what people tell me the most, is they get a lot of clarity. And it's really, this is a shamanic deck in many ways, because it's really about how to walk on the earth, but it's connected to source. So some decks I find they're really out there in sort of in ether, and it's really hard to apply into this world. This deck applies it into the world and is a bridge to the divine, and the divine is a bridge back into this world. And you don't have to even have that knowing or understanding in order to use them, because they're going to speak to you. It's so funny. I never imagined the places they've been. They're used in business circles. I got a letter from this group of nuns who does missionary work. I think they were from Texas. I can't remember exactly where they were from, but they went off to Africa and they did mission work. And what they did was they had the Wild Woman mystery cards, and they would gather in the circle before they went out to do their work. And then they would pull a mystery card and read it, and that would inspire them into what the kind of work they were going to do in that particular day out in the field. Oh, I just almost was going to cry, because you never know what's going to happen when you do something like this. And I didn't expect to be so moved, but when I hear that the cards are going out and working in the world in such a way, I am absolutely humbled by the experience of that. And I didn't expect to cry, but when it's your passion, when you do something that means something to you, and it means something to other people, there's an opportunity to have a purpose that you didn't even know existed. Oh, so that's my story with these cards. I'm going to pull a card to see what oil I need. See, creativity. So I'm going to pull up, this is the second chakra. It's the relationship oil, creativity, passion, sexuality. You can just put it on. You can put it right on the chakra. It smells so good. One more little thing I want to share with you, because you never know what's going to happen, right? So the card, a lot of the ladies wanted to be on the front, but I chose brilliance. I knew that she was the awakening into yourself. She was brilliance, but I had no idea out of all of the cards that she was the one that actually was all of the chakras. You know, sometimes you just have to follow that little voice, that intuition that tells you what it is that you need to do, because you never ever know what it is, the greater plan of the universe. She's on the cover. She's all 7 chakras. That wasn't the intention, but the universe had a greater plan, and I'm glad I listened. So thank you, Wild Woman. I'm so glad that you hung around. I have a private Facebook group that I'd love for you to drop in on. I'm going to put the link below. We have some lovely wild women in there. So if you would like to join us, please do. I welcome you with open arms. We have card readings, we do after show talk, and I look forward to growing in this group with you. And I look forward to the community that we're going to create with that as well. Also, if you want to know more about the Wild Woman Mystery School and the courses that are opening up, please be sure to jump on the mailing list. It's down below, and I'll put a link for you there too. I will be sharing that with you as it unrolls, and the masterclass in healing is coming soon, and the superpowers will also be part of that course, so I'm very excited. Tell me in the comments below, do you own a deck? Do you have this deck? What do you think about all of that? One of the things I do in my courses is when we study the healings, in the masterclass, I give an empowerment. It's because the deck becomes yours. So all of these kinds of things are so exciting. So I want to know, what do you do with your decks? What happens? So subscribe below. There's many more videos coming. And if you are looking for something meaningful, something supportive, something healing, and something fun. I say go on over to shop.wildwomanenchanted.com. The link is below for you. We ship all over, so no worries where you're from. All right, Wild Woman, thank you for being with me. Thank you for sharing my story. Thank you for letting me share my tears with you. That was an unexpected moment, and I thank you for that. All right, Wild Woman, take good care, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
What I love most about your cards is that they are open to interpretation, but at the same time they're very guiding. And the language used in them opens something. It's a door, it's a threshold into something that I haven't found an access to other than these cards. And I think that that's really important, that people find their own access. And for me, this has been an imperative tool, and really I don't leave home without them. I've taken them to Belize, I've taken them to Mexico, taken them to the Queen Charlotte's. I mean, I just take them everywhere with me, and my friends know I'm gonna show up with this box of cards. So thank you, Elizabeth, for your cards. They're such a blessing to the world. Thank you.